Greetings, this is Star Illumination. This is another video in the series about the Aries North Node. This one's for you, Capricorns. Please, if you haven't watched it already, watch the primer video that covers all 12. The video itself is called Aries North Node. It's very close on the list to all the other 12 videos. So there's really 13 videos in all. This one's for Capricorns. Now here's another suggestion. I was advised to mention this just the other day, so it's not on all the videos, but since we're talking about Libra South Node and relationships is kind of a given that goes with it, my friend was suggesting, why don't you recommend to your viewers that the person watching also watches for a significant other to get some insight into the journey that might be happening to a significant other. Some folks like to call those cross watchers. Excuse me. So, there we go. Cross watching. It's not a bad thing. It's not spying. It's just educating yourself. And recommend it to your significant other as well. Why doesn't your significant other cross watch for you? They might learn something. Anyway, let's go over here. So let's hope you've watched the primer video. Anyway, we're talking about the North Node Aries journey. It runs from July 2023 to January 2025. It's an 18.5 year cycle to go all the way around. In this case, here, okay, and it effectively takes 1.55 years in each sign when you divide it all up. Okay, so that's how that works. I'm not going to explain much of anything about the North Node journey itself for the whole world right now. That's in the primer video. I'm just going to concentrate on what it might look like or feel like for the Capricorn types. So, in very simple terms, the North Node is a journey, a direction, rather than a destination. Think of it as a compass. And when you get deeper and deeper into astrology, you start to realize that the North Node is a very important part of personal astrology. And a lot of astrologers now make that a fundamental component of their private and personal readings for their clients. And there's a reason for that. It's because over the years, as the person starts to mature into adulthood, they start to question their own lives. And eventually, oh no, they book a reading with Tarot Illumination. And they're trying to figure out what just happened and where the hell am I going? So on the South Node, there are constant themes of comfort, the default setting, perhaps past lives, if you believe in those things, your natural way of operating and being since birth. Now, in order to evolve and grow, we need to evolve and grow, and sometimes that can be painful. Sometimes it often includes heading in new directions where you've never been before and having new life experience, which is the catalyst for evolution. So, in the case of the South Node is here, the North Node is here. This is the symbol here, okay? We're dealing with Libra South Node. There's the Libra SN. And over here is the Aries North Node. That's the symbol for the North. Over here. So, when we're young, up to 18 and a half, 19, 20, a lot of the times we're just functioning off hormones, reflex behavior, childhood conditioning, and our natural gifts. Once you get into the next chapter, by the time you reach 37, 2 cycles around, a lot of people have lived through all sorts of life experience and started questioning themselves, like, what went wrong, what could I do better, and so on and so on. Now, in that journey, especially over the 2 cycles, there will have been many episodes where you would have encountered a taste of what it's like to be in tune with the North Node. Now, that might have happened for you, dear Capricorns, when there were a lot of planets transiting over here in your 4th house Aries section, because that would trigger the North Node. Now, I'm not saying you're born with the Libra Aries North Node. All I'm saying is that this Libra Aries North Node journey is happening now. I can't remember when the Capricorn North Node is happening. I forgot about that. But anyway, so this is a generic transit that's happening for the whole world and for everybody. All we're trying to do here is give you a sketch, an outline of how that might translate for you personally, Capricorn types. Whether you've got significant Libra aspects, 10th house aspects in here, or 4th house aspects in here, planets there. Doesn't matter. The transit is going to happen anyway. So here's a couple of things in advance before we get into it. The Capricorn Libra aspect in itself is squared. In astrology, that means it's a challenge, okay? It's a 90-degree square. The 120 degrees angles are comfortable. They're called trines. Here, 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 okay? And the sextiles, which are 2 signs away, those are comfortable as well. Signs of opportunity. Trines are comfort and ease, and almost like we take it for granted. But in this case, the Libra energy is squared to Capricorn. So you might have a challenging experience over the next 1.5 years if you pay attention to this, or if you're aware of it, or you want to make the best of this transit so you don't get bogged down in all this stuff here, and you get a chance to grab the opportunity to tune into this stuff here. I say bogged down because the South Node, like if you had your own personal astrology chart and you found that your South Node was in a particular sign, and we did a personal reading, you would find that the South Node often represents stuff you've taken for granted, lifetimes and conditions and behaviors that are your default settings. You don't question them. They're natural to you. They're very comfortable. And why mess with that? But again, like I said earlier, the point is to evolve in this lifetime. And one of the most profound catalysts for evolution is the North Node. So, as we progress through life, let's say 18.5 years, 37 years, things can get a little bumpy if this issue is not addressed. Now, in your case, Capricorn, you might notice over the next 1.5 years that when you look at your 10th house area, which is your natural born turf, by the way, Saturn rules the 10th house. Capricorn is the sign on the 10th house in a global chart. So to have this Libra energy here is a bit challenging for you. And it might indicate that you have outgrown certain characteristics in this part of your life, which is very much about career, legacy, destination, your mission, your purpose here on Earth. And for Capricorns, it's very much to do with things like business, ambition, taking care of life. Capricorn, if you think of one of the themes of Capricorn is very much about business, taking care of business, the business of life. Capricorns are very good at like executive type behavior, how to run a company, how to organize people, manage people, to optimize things like time, energy, resources, situations, how to deal with very challenging situations. And Capricorns would typically take the long-term view, no fast, easy, quick fixes for Capricorn. They would typically naturally take a very pragmatic, steady, solid, three-dimensional approach to running their life, their career, their business, so that they create a legacy. They have something solid that they can lean on in later life, for example. So what you might discover is that you might be heavily immersed in this part of your life, and only to realize that you might have a lot of redundant relationships relationships in business, like business partners, co-worker situations, or employee situations, something like that, that you're holding on to simply because that's the default setting. It's just like, well, they're part of my team, or I inherited this with the company when I bought it, or some of these people are my neighbors, or some of them go to my church, or something like that. But there's a degree of redundancy to the point where it's actually becoming so burdensome that it's detrimental to your 10th house vibes of career, success, ambition, achievement, and growing your legacy. So can you see how that's a real problem? So how do you grow out of that? How do you get to the point where you realize, oh my God, I can't keep going like this. I'm losing money, I'm losing traction, and I cannot sustain this. What are you going to do? So with the North Node in Aries, you might not like this, Capricorn. With the North Node in Aries, it might be time to clean house. It might be time to look at your business, your life, your career, your world outside of the house, your world in terms of what do you get up, what do you do during the day, and then at the end of the day, you retire to your nest and you decompress so that you can start again the next day. So when you're out there and you're realizing like this is not sustainable anymore, you already know things are imploding. What do you do? Well, the thing is, you have to call it out, number one, on yourself. You have to reveal it to heal it, and that would be very hard to do because it might mean you have to write pink slips or reprimand certain people or cut ties or break up contracts or cancel business relationships and agreements with certain well-established relationships that are maybe legacy relationships that are holding on because of things like loyalty or comfort or unwillingness to compete or disturb the status quo. So that's a very unhealthy dynamic for Capricorn. So what do? This is going to sound contrary, but what you do is you take some time out and you go home. And you take a look around your home and your family and realize, my God, if I don't sort this out, I don't have a home. I don't have a family because I got to keep all this going. I've got to keep hustling, running business so that I can take care of home and family or my future career. So how am I going to do that? So the thing to do it is just be really honest and blunt and straightforward like an Aries and go home and announce to your significant others, listen folks, I'm in trouble out here with so-and-so business relationships and so on. Every manner you can think of that's going wrong or could go wrong is going wrong. And if I don't deal with it, I'm going to lose this. I won't be able to sustain this. So what do? You say, listen folks, I need to clear myself. I need to get back to me. Who am I at the foundation of my life? Look in the mirror. Go into the bathroom. Shut the door. Lock the door. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, who am I really? What am I doing? Then maybe reach up to the heavens and say, dear guardian angels, heaven, God, whatever, please bring to me that which I need. Please take away from me that which I do not need. Okay? Ask for help. It works so much better by invitation rather than you thinking you can control it all, which of course would be your default setting. So make that announcement, make that invitation and that request, and start to see what happens. And you might find that certain relationships start to fall away automatically, or you might realize that I am going to have to step up. I am going to have to hold a board meeting. I'm going to have to lay it out. I'm going to have to say, listen, Your contract's being terminated, or this department is being shut down. This department here is being trimmed out, downsized. Over here, we need to build something better. Over here, you're fired, and so on and so on. Just lay it all out there using maximum courage that you could only get by going home and bolstering yourself and making yourself really strong. So how do you do that? Perhaps you're married, or you've got a home and family, or maybe you're on your own. How do you reclaim your sovereign self so that you are not a victim of relationships, so that you are the one in charge the way you should be, rather than living at the mercy of redundant relationship dynamics? So how do you do that? Well, you do it like I suggested. And so, here's an example. You look in the mirror, you go, you know what? I've got so much stress from sitting in front of a phone, a desk, a screen, being in factories, traveling here, traveling there, trying to keep this thing going, and it's not working anymore. I've got to sort it out. Number one, my body, I've got to get fit again. I'm going to go jogging. I'm going to go swimming. I am going to go on a meditation yoga program for a while. Just me on my own, so that I can get back to my center. My friends and family are going to notice that. They're going to say, wow, hey, what's happened with you? You've been so stressed recently for the last few years. Now you're like home. You're spending more time at home. You're looking after yourself. You're nurturing yourself. And you can tell them, yeah, sure. Of course, what do you think? If I don't do that, if I don't put me first, take care of myself first, get a good night's sleep, have proper food, shut the door, put the out to lunch sign for a few minutes, take a full weekend off when I need it, give myself a 2-week vacation at least once a year, I'm going to lose all of this. I've already had to do a lot of damage control here. I'm not going to ever go back to that dilemma again. And everybody at home looks at you, goes, whoa, wow, that's awesome. Go for it. And then you get confirmed, you get endorsed, you get, what's the other word? There's another word I like to use for that. But anyway, can you see what I'm getting at here? It wouldn't come naturally. You have to invoke it. You have to initiate it. You have to have the courage, the fierce energy to initiate this thing yourself. You take action. Think of the energy of Mars, Aries. You take action. You don't worry about what everyone else might think about you. You take action, and if you have to, maybe apologize later, but typically you won't need to if you do things properly with proper Capricorn executive responsible characteristics. You get out there, you have some fun. You get fit if you're not fit already, and then you stay fit, and then you deliberately dedicate time for home and family. You don't want to dissipate your energy 24/7 in here, because it's like throwing time, energy, and money down a drain. That's one of the characteristics of the South Node. It can start to feel like a black hole, like a drain, if you don't take charge of this, okay? So treat this as an opportunity, okay, Capricorn? Didn't mean to scare you, but there's probably other interpretations. I'm just giving you the Tarot Illumination version of it, okay? So I want to say thank you for watching. If you need to get deep and private, you can go over to Tarot Illumination. Please donate, or else go to the reading page and you can book a personal one with me here, okay? So I'm going to say thank you and goodbye. Remember, you are number one, dear Capricorns. Love thyself, okay? Really, literally, put yourself first. Claim your sovereign identity. Now is the time to do it. You've got a 1.5 year window. Okay? Take care. All the best.